Hello everybody, I am Nikhil Verma and I welcome you back to the revision series of Indian Financial Services, and in continuation to the previous class wherein we discussed about merchant banks. Today we are going to talk about SEBI regulations in regards to merchant banks, and I hope everybody understands that these are revision classes, so we are not going to go in detail of explanation. We're just going to touch base on important aspects of any subtopic. So the videos will be short and simple enough to understand. So let's proceed. So the Indian merchant banking sector is regulated by the SEBI, which is Securities Exchange Board of India, which was established in the year 1988. However, it issued regulations on merchant banking in the year 1992, which were further revised in the year 1997. And there is the definition given here. You all can go through it later. Um, there are four categories of merchant bankers, or let me rephrase it. There were four categories of merchant bankers for registration as per SEBI. Category 1, Category 2, Category 3, Category 4. Category 4 merchant banks would only act as advisor or consultant to an issue, to a public issue. Whereas the Category 3 merchant banks would be able to act as underwriters, advisors, and or consultant to an issue. So you add underwriting to the category 4 people, it will become category 3 merchant bank. You add portfolio manager and co-manager to category 3 merchant bank, it will become a category 2 merchant bank. It will be able to act as an advisor, consultant, underwriter, and along with that they will also be able to handle portfolio and work as co-manager. Now category 1 issue, the category 1 merchant banks are those merchant banks that can perform all the activities that merchant banks were able to perform under the previous three categories. Along with that, they will also be able to handle issue management. So category 1 merchant banks are those banks that will be able to handle issue management, work as an advisor, consultant, underwriter, portfolio manager, and co-manager. All right. The the trick to it is that in the year 1997, SEBI abolished category 2, 3, and 4 merchant banks. So only category 1 merchant banks were allowed to act as lead managers. Since 1997, category 1 merchant bankers were able to register by SEBI. Talking about registration, there are two types of registrations. Stage 1 is considered as initial registration, and stage 2 is considered as permanent registration. uh, Two different types of registrations. Permanent registration is followed, uh, sorry, initial registration is followed by permanent registration. So first you have to apply for COIR, that is certificate of initial registration. Only when you have a COIR and you complete the tenure of 5 years, you can apply for COPR, that is certificate of permanent registration. Let us look at the rules and regulations in regards to initial registration. When you want to apply for initial registration, an application shall be made to the board in form A with a non-refundable application fee of 13 lakhs 33,300 rupees. This fees will not be refundable at any cost. The board shall grant a certificate of initial registration to eligible applicant and send an intimation to the applicant. The initial registration granted shall be valid for a period of 5 years from the date of issue. We also spoke about SEBI being established in the year 1988, and it issuing regulations in the year 1992. Uh, so there is a point here that the merchant bank who has already been granted COR by the board prior to commencement of SEBI and has not completed a period of 3 years. That means if there is a merchant bank who has been allotted a COR, certificate of registration, prior to establishment of SEBI, there was no initial registration or permanent registration, there was only certificate of registration. So if they were already granted a COR and that merchant bank has not yet completed a period of 3 years, um, SEBI would assume that they have granted them COIR for 5 years from the date when they were issued a COR, only when they make the payment for remaining 2 years, and this is mandatory. So this was mandatory back then. Requirements for considering of application: the applicant shall be a body corporate other than a NBFC. So the applicant cannot be a NBFC. The applicant should have necessary infrastructure. uh, these are in detail, which will be covered in the notes. The applicant has in his employment minimum of 2 persons who have the experience to conduct the business of merchant bankers. So it is mandatory that they have 2 people who are employed, um, who have experience to conduct the business as merchant bankers. They need to have 5 crores capital adequacy. The applicant, his partner, director or principal officer is not involved in any litigation connected with securities market. Apart from conviction in security market or litigation in securities market, the applicant, his partner, director or principal officer has not at any time been convicted for any offence involving moral turpitude or has been found guilty for any economic offence. The applicant has the professional qualifications from an institute recognized by the government in finance, law or business management. So either of these 3 streams you need to have a professional qualification. Requisite fees to be paid to the board. Grant of certificate to the applicant is in the interest of investors. Then we are talking about stage 2, that is permanent registration. The merchant banker who has been granted a COIR, a COIR is certificate of initial registration, may make an application for the grant of COPR in Form A. The merchant banker who has already been granted a COR by the board and has completed a period of 5 years on the date of commencement of SEBI regulations 2011 may, 3 months before the expiry of validity of COR or before, make an application for grant of a COPR in Form A. An application shall be accompanied by a non-refundable application fee of 25,000. Once again, if the board is satisfied that the applicant is eligible, it shall grant a COPR in Form B and shall send an intimation to the applicant. On grant of a COPR, the merchant shall be liable to pay the fee of rupees 5 lakh. So for COIR, which will last for 5 years, the fee is 13,33,300. However, for permanent registration, which lasts for 3 years, the registration fee is 5 lakhs. Conditions: where the merchant banker proposes to change in control, it shall obtain prior approval from the board for continuing to act as such after the change. It shall pay the fees for as the case may be in the manner provided in these regulations, which are just highlighted for you. You'll have to go through textbooks for details about this. It shall take adequate steps for redressal of grievances of the investor within 1 month of the date of receipt of the complaint and keep the board informed about the number, nature and other particulars of the complaints received. So this is the condition. You have to address any customer or investor related grievances within 1 month from the date of receipt of such complaint. It shall maintain capital adequacy requirements. It shall abide by the regulations made under the Act in respect of the activities carried on by its merchant bank. Let's go ahead and look at the fees once again. Registration fees at the time of grant of certificate of initial registration is 13,33,300. Merchant banker who has been granted a COPR shall pay a fee of rupees 5 lakhs every 3 years from 6th year onwards. That is, once the 5 years initial registration period is over, from the 6th year, once in every 3 years, the merchant banker will have to pay a fee of rupees 5 lakhs. At the time of application For permanent registration, the non-refundable fee of rupees 25 should be sent. 25,000 should be sent along with the application. Thank you. That's it for today. In the next class, we'll continue with second module.